Hi everyone, my name's Amanda. We're here at Svenson's Marine Gear, and today we're going to talk about staying safe and having the right temperature and the right clothing for sailing on the bay. Okay, so we're going to go through this in layers, from the inner layer to the outer layer. The very first layer I'm going to start with is sunscreen. So I put a lot of sunscreen on even before I go out on the bay. Take it with you so you can reapply it as needed during the day. And then I'd wear something comfortable for sure. I like to wear this type of a shirt. It's thin, but it's warm. It's sort of water resistant. It breathes well. I also have a similar shirt that's not quite a turtleneck, but it can zip up. So if you're cold, it protects your neck better. And sometimes on the bay, if it's pretty nice out, just this will be fine. If it's a little bit colder, I like to wear flannel or anything that really you can button up or zip up, because then you can control the temperature, warmer, buttoned up, unbutton it, and you still have a little extra layer on, so you can have a light flannel. I also have heavier flannel shirts like this. I really like this one has a pocket, and so I like to find things with pockets in them for my outer layer. This can keep my chapstick, which I also think you should always have on hand. You may not realize it, but with the wind out there, you really are your lips are getting a lot of wind on them. So I always start off with chapstick at the beginning of the day. I try to find one with sunscreen in it, and I reapply as often as possible. So it's very handy to have it in your pocket. And then this is similar, a lightweight but warm. This has a little bit of wind resistance to it. And this one's my favorite for the pocket because these zip. So when I go out shopping, I try to look for things that can zip up, especially if it's going to be on my outer layer. And then for my lower half, I have a similar material that I wear as the first layer on my legs. And under this, I wear these long socks. And it's kind of a running joke now in my family that I get these for Christmas every year. So I have lots of different colors, but they come up pretty high. And along with these, they keep my whole leg warm. I tend to wear jeans on the bay, but if you're gonna get wet, that might not be a great idea. So I also have some other breathable, lightweight, but somewhat water resistant pants. So I can wear these over my first layer. And what's nice about these, if it is a warm day, if you get that on the bay, if you're lucky enough, these actually will unzip. And so you can end up having sort of versatile gear that's easy to make longer or shorter as needed. Okay, so on your very outer layer, if you're having some wind and rain and weather, you're going to want to have a nice sailing jacket. So either for in the bay, or you can look for an offshore jacket. You can have different options. This is a nice one made by Gill. There's a lot of different options out there for you. And then for pants, classically have the overall style weather pants like this. Personally, and a few of my other sailing friends, I do change layers quite a bit. And I actually find it easier to use, these are actually snowboard pants, but the same idea, same type of material, so that I just don't have the overall, and it's easier for me to change my clothes around with just these on them if I want to change my top. Okay, and you also might want to have different hat options and ways to keep your head warm or just your hair back, especially for girls. So standard baseball caps are great if it's a pretty nice day out on the bay. This is actually a skiing thing, but you have something similar just to keep your ears warm. I don't tend to use this as often, but I know others who do. Or just your classic hat that goes over your head. They have some nice fleece-lined ones that we'll walk you by in just a minute here. Then my ultimate favorite, so when I'm sailing, of course, have my hair up. And I have this hat It actually lets you take your hair out of it. So if I'm done for the day, my hair is not a big disaster. It's not a big snarly mess. And I can just use this hat, which I like, and my hair just pops out there. If it's raining or if it's really sunny, you can have a hat like this, have a chin strap, keep it on. The rain just goes away from your face. It's easier to see what you're doing and not get the rain directly in your face. And then they have some different hats over here. It's got a sort of baseball style hat. And then these are pretty nice. They have these lines to keep yourself warm, right tight to your head, and keeps you nice and warm. Important item to have with you when you're sailing is a pair of gloves. You can see these are pretty well used. I like the ones with no tips on the fingers, but there's a lot of different options for that. And then personally, I always carry an extra pair of gloves with me. That way, if they're wet or, you know, if they're in this state to begin with and they end up worse off during the day, I have a backup. So mine have no fingers in them. There's a lot of different options. I think these have all the no fingers. Here's some with most of the fingers, and then the thumb and one finger have no tip to them. And then similar styles over here. So you can get what works best for you. Obviously the ones that have full fingers might be a little bit warmer, but for me, the ones with no tips, for me it's easier to do functional things on the boat. Okay, so if it's a nicer day on the bay, I like to wear sort of regular old boat shoes. They're lightweight, but they have a nice grip to the boat. When I'm out on the bay and it's a little bit hairier out there, I like to wear sneakers. In fact, most of the time on the bay I'm wearing my sneakers. I like them because they're a little bit more flexible and they let my feet breathe. But if you're really going to be out there in weather, or if your boat is going to be having water in it and your feet are going to get wet, there's a lot of different options for boots. So these are kind of your standard classic boots that you can wear. They also have sort of booties that are a little bit more flexible, a little bit hardier. And there's some more boots around the corner. All the way from offshore boots, again, some other booties. So you have a lot of options here. So some other sneaker type boat shoes. So you want to think about what you're going to be doing, where you're going to be, what the weather might be like, and choose your footwear. But you definitely want to make sure that it's something that's comfortable for you and that you can move around it easily. Okay, so the other thing I would always recommend is a pair of sunglasses during the day, of course, for the sun and also for the wind. And then for me, I don't wear glasses in general, but if you do, you could just have those. But if I go out night sailing, even though there's no sun, you still have the wind, or it could be cold and my eyes tend to tear up. So as fashionable as it may not be, I have just clear glasses that help with the wind. Also, if needed, you can get something to hold your sunglasses onto you. These are pretty tight to me, but these are not so much. And so that way, even if they come off, you won't lose them. All right, and then a few little accessories that are something if you want to bring or not. I always wear a watch when I'm out there. This is a waterproof watch. It just keeps you on track for the day. And then I like to wear knee pads, especially if you're a girl. You're gonna get bruises on your knees, and if you're wearing a dress or something later in the day, you might want to protect that. I like these. These are actually volleyball knee pads. They're a little bit less bulky for me, but there are other styles as well that might provide a little bit more protection if you need that. And so here are some bigger ones with a little bit more support. Oh yes, thanks. Some other styles like this. And then on the bay, you're always going to want to have on a PFD or a life jacket. There are different styles. So when I started sailing, I had this style I liked. It gave me a lot of flexibility. When I did a little bit of offshore, I got something very similar, but these have the ability to be harnessed in with some loops here. If you're going to be on a boat and you're leaning back a lot of the day, You might choose something like this that has a little bit of cushion. It also might keep you a little bit warmer. It is a little bit bulkier though, so just depending on what you're looking for and what you're going to be doing during the day. There's some other ones here that are pretty similar. They just zip up in different spots. This one goes on the side. These go in the front. They have different colors. Sometimes they'll have different features on them. This one has a pocket in the front. So you can search around for something that's going to work for you and for the types of things you're going to be doing. Just a reminder that things like this can go under your jacket. And so that's one thing to think about if you're buying a jacket. You want to keep that. If you already have this on over a layer like this and you're going to be taking your jacket on and off. These you would want on the outside of your jacket if you're wearing a jacket. Otherwise, if you're in the water and your jacket's covering it, that might be not the best situation. So make sure you put this on the final layer of all of your clothing.